This is the third video and the fourth tire I will be testing on my Tesla Model Y. I'm testing EV specific tires, all the way from a $115 tire, all the way up to a $360 tire. They all have different technologies in them that make them quiet, efficient, etc. And I wanted to test all of them third party. That way I can give the best information I can to you, the consumer. Now I'm testing these specifically on my Model Y, but these results should move over into any EV, and these tires that I'm testing come in various sizes, so they may even fit on your car. You will have to go check that. Now, today's contestant is the Bridgestone Turanza, which is an EV specific tire. But what's different about it? So this is a premium grade tire, and at the filming of this video, this specific tire costs $329.99 per tire. Now, of all the tires I'm testing, I'm most excited to test this one because Bridgestone has engineered what they call quiet track technology, meaning instead of having the foam inner liner, they actually have ridges on the exterior of the tire to mitigate the noise and vibrations that come up through the cabin. I asked Bridgestone about the foam inserts, and they did test them and saw no appreciable difference between foam inserts and their quiet track technology on the outside. They found that their in-groove tracks would break up the resonant frequency. Also, big words coming up here. Here we go. Bridgestone also applied non-chamfered, C-H-A-M-F-E-R-E-D, I don't know if I'm even saying that right, slots on the Turanza EV shoulder ribs and an optimized 3-pitch sequence in the tread block to mitigate pattern noise. In fact, I think Bridgestone has spent more R&D money than our government spends on helping single mothers in America. And for that, we thank you. And so, if we look at this Westlake tire right here, again, this costs $115. There is nothing on the inside of here to stop from the echo and vibrations that come up through the tire. And additionally, even on the exterior of it, there is nothing in here that's going to stop that noise from happening because, again, these are electric cars. There's no engine to drown out the tire sound. But the Continental, for example, has this foam pad inner liner, and that's how they go about making it a quieter tire, and they don't have any within the exterior on the in between the treads here. So the reason that this is important is because when you go to some tire shops, if you get a flat, if you get a nail right here that is repairable, some tire shops will give you some pushback and say, look, we can't fix it because of the foam inner liner. Now, a good tire shop will cut a section of the foam out, fix the hole, and then glue it back on there and patch it and replace it. That should be what happens, but a lot of tire shops will give you some pushback. I one time went to NTB to get a flat tire fixed. Said, we don't work on electric cars because if we puncture the battery, we'll burn the entire shop down. So that's the mindset that some people have, and that's a reason potentially that you may want to get an EV specific tire that doesn't have the foam inner liner. So that's the difference in the quiet track technology that Bridgestone has engineered. Also, make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you can see the upcoming tire tests that I'm doing. Normally, I don't ask people to subscribe to this channel, but apparently when you blatantly say it, the subscribe button lights up. So I'm curious just to see if that happens. Let me know if the subscribe button has some sparkles on it or whatever. Now, the first test we're going to be doing is a sound test at 50 miles per hour. Again, I've tested all of these tires in the same section road at 50 and 70 miles per hour. So let's see how the Bridgestone stacks up. All right, 50 mile per hour speed test. So there's your 50 mile per hour speed test. You can see, again, about the same. I saw some 51s in there, I saw some 55s, but generally it's right in that 52 to 54 or 55 region for most of the tires that I've tested. So really nothing to report there. All the tires that I've tested have been about the same at the 50 mile per hour sound test. So now let's go to the 70 mile per hour test. All right, so now the 70 mile per hour test on the highway with the Bridgestones. So there you go. Again, I get a very consistent, kind of held it, 55 for a lot of it, 55 to 57. So again, nothing really surprising in that range. What I can tell you from my own experience though, I recommend getting your tires road force balanced. I went to Wheel Specialists. They are in Tempe, Arizona, and they are like very particular about the tires and the weights and balancing it. They never scratch your wheels and they deal with a lot of high-end cars. I recommend going there if you care to have it perfect, because road force balancing essentially gives you the truest roll of your tire. They will put the most true one in your left front, right front, rear left, and then back right for the most unbalanced one. They're all very similar, but just to give your car the smoothest roll possible. Discount Tire does not do that. They don't even really understand what it is. I asked the one guy about it. I was like, can you let me know what the road force balance numbers are on it? He's like, yeah. And then I was like, just make sure, like, you know, the most round one goes in the front left. He's like, well, that doesn't necessarily mean the car's gonna ride smooth. Like, I'm like, that's literally what it means. So anyways, if you care, if you didn't know about it, that's what that is. Now, our third test on these Bridgestone Turanza EV specific tires will be 0 to 60 runs. So I ended up doing 4 0 to 60 runs. Here's the best time I got, and here is the average of those 4 runs. All right. Run number 1, 0 to 60s test on Bridgestone Turanza EV specific tires. Reset on the draggy device. Zero to 60 time of 4.27 seconds for run number 1. Again, battery is at like 80 to 85 degrees in temperature. 4.27 seconds. Let's do another run for good measure and see what we get. Forgot to hit record on run number 2. I will say, accelerating, I can hear the tires kind of digging or reaching more, but that time right there, 4.3 seconds, and that was a verified time. So we're within, what is that, hundredths of a second? 4.27 on run number 1 and 4.30 on run number 2. So kind of a standard time, not anything really spectacular. That's the 0 to 60 time with a Model Y long range that is boosted. So 0 to 60 should say 4.2 seconds is what it says from Tesla. I think the best time I've ever gotten is 4.13 seconds, but that's with light forged wheels. These are the stock 19s. Now, the most important test is the highway range test. We will be doing these with the Tesla wheel covers on for maximum efficiency. But if you want more stylish wheel covers, I have 20% off of Test Plus in the description for covers like these that, in my opinion, look a lot better. They're well priced and they give you lots of options. So after 3 runs up and down the same section of road at 70 miles per hour, here are the efficiency results. Now for the same test going 80 miles per hour. After 3 runs going 80 miles per hour, here are the results. So where do these highway results stack up in comparison to other tires? Now, while the efficiency test on this was higher than I expected, here is why I think that happened. If you actually look at the tread pattern here, this looks like it would be a truly good all-season tire for someone that has to deal with snow. You even have these little cuts that go in through here. You have wide tracks through here. It looks a lot different than something like the Hankook Ion Evo. And in addition to that, you don't have the foam inner liner, so you have to worry about if you get a flat tire in the shop kind of screwing with you. You just don't have that. So despite being more inefficient, I actually still really like these tires for certain applications in certain parts of the country to where you need to keep a tire on all year. Highway efficiency doesn't really matter. It's all about that all-season performance while still being a quiet tire and having EV-specific technology baked into it. I really like the Bridgestone tire for that. And here's what we got at 70 miles per hour. So it's a 20-mile loop that I'm doing up the highway, back down the highway, and I'm doing all these tests. Luckily in Phoenix, the weather is usually dead. Interesting thing is I did the test one day and didn't realize it was windy, and I saw the results were spiked at 70 miles per hour. So I had a 7% efficiency loss because I had 13-mile-an-hour winds coming up from the southwest. So it was just an interesting note. But on a day that it was dead with the Bridgestone Turanza EV tires, at 70 miles per hour, we averaged 5.87 kilowatt hours used in that 20.7-mile loop. We then averaged 284.3 watt hours per mile, which translates to 263.8 miles of range at 70 miles per hour. So that is a 75 25 kilowatt hour battery pack going from 100% to 0% should get you 263.8 miles of range on these tires. If you were to go 80 miles per hour for the entirety of the battery, you'd be looking at averaging 6.92 kilowatt hours used on average in the 3 runs that I did, and averaging 335 watt hours per mile, which leads to 223 miles of range if you were to go 80 miles per hour. So doing these tests has really opened my eyes up to the efficiencies of these vehicles. When I'm driving cross country, for example, I've said it's hard for me sometimes to get to that 200 miles because I'm running the air conditioning. We might have a headwind. The speed limit in parts of Oklahoma is 85 miles per hour, in Texas too. So you can see how jumping up 10 miles per hour really reduces your efficiency and range, and that's why people are saying, hey, I'm getting nowhere near what I'm supposed to be getting. So those are the results with the Bridgestone Turanza EV specific tire. Now, if you want to look at a more cost-effective EV specific tire, click this video right here for the Salem tire that I tested.